Hello, my name is Kari and I am a mobile advocate for Crisis Center North. Crisis Center North is an agency that provides free services to individuals or significant others who have experienced or who are currently experiencing domestic violence. These services include a 24/7 hotline, case management to help survivors meet day-to-day needs, including tangible assistance, food resources, and housing resources, legal advocates who assist survivors through the process of securing a protection from abuse order or who provide court accompaniment, medical advocates who help clients get the support they need in emergency rooms and doctors' offices, prevention education throughout the community, and most recently, a text chat line available through our website and a phone text line, both available from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And of course, we provide free counseling services to both children and adults. Now, as many people know and are experiencing right now, the COVID-19 pandemic has required that we all engage in social distancing. And for many of us, we're also now mandated to stay at home in pretty full social isolation. While these are the safest steps for stopping the spread of this virus, it can also lead to many unintended consequences. Social isolation can fuel incidents of domestic violence, making this a very dangerous time for survivors. Additionally, social isolation can more broadly serve to intensify any stress and anxiety that's already present and leave many feeling overwhelmed with what's going on. So, it's incredibly important that we build up our toolbox to help us find ways to relax, to cope with that stress, and to feel more in control of how we're feeling. The counselors of Crisis Center North want to be able to provide you with some of these tools to help you cope a little bit more with what's going on. To do this, we're creating a series of videos, each of which will highlight a different tool for you to add to your toolbox. Today's tool for your toolbox will be breathing. Now, more specifically, this is going to be deep breathing, otherwise called abdominal or diaphragmatic or simply just belly breathing. Most of us have heard it before, of course. When we're feeling stressed or anxious or overwhelmed, someone inevitably tells us to just breathe to calm down. And some of us may have taken that advice and found it works, while for others, it may have just caused us to become even more stressed or exasperated in the moment. Maybe we even snapped back and let that person know that I am breathing, and it hasn't changed anything. I've been there too. So I'm going to start this video by recognizing that some of you may be coming at this from a place of doubt or skepticism. I want to acknowledge and validate that. And I want to offer a little bit more of an explanation and a brief breathing practice to demonstrate the true power of breath as one of the most foundational and easily accessible tools that we have to combat intense or overwhelming emotions. So first, just a question to put this into context. Have you ever felt highly stressed or anxious or overwhelmed and realized that you were breathing very rapidly, kind of like that, or shallowly, or just having trouble even catching your breath? So this is actually part of our body's natural stress response, also called our fight or flight response. It happens when our brain perceives danger of some kind and our body's preparing to either confront or avoid that danger. Now, we may find ourselves also having rapid heartbeat, sweating palms, tense muscles, maybe even a little trembling or shaking. Of course, if we're confronting a dangerous animal, this response serves us well. It gets us ready to respond quickly to that danger. But when we start to have this response too often, it can sometimes cause negative effects on our bodies. And so while we can't avoid all stress, what we can do is develop healthier ways of responding to that stress and build up our ability to call on a relaxation response when we need it, when maybe that stress response isn't actually going to serve us well. So as you can probably guess that I might say next, using our breath is the foundation to almost every relaxation, calming, or meditation technique and is an essential first step to building up that relaxation response. So why is this? Well, research into breathing strategies and the basic ways that our body works support the use of breath to relax. We've all probably experienced at some point in our lives the direct connection between emotions and our bodies. For example, if you're happy, what happens? You might find that you smile automatically. When you're feeling rested or safe, you might find that your body feels relaxed and that your breathing is slow and deep. This is the result of the parasympathetic nervous system kicking in. So it's just a fancy way of saying the part of your brain that produces that calming feeling. It slows everything down in your body. On the other hand, if you're feeling scared or in pain or stressed or tense, your breathing speeds up, becomes shallower, and that stress reaction, which is controlled by the sympathetic nervous system, it kicks in. So this can also occur in the other direction though. The physical state of our body can actually affect our emotions. So for example, when you smile, even if you don't think you have a reason to, your brain reacts by experiencing pleasant emotions. When it comes to breathing, if we're breathing in a shallow way, which a lot of us do because we haven't really practiced deep breathing, we're limiting the range of motion of our diaphragm, which is that muscle down here at the base of our lungs. And that means that the lowest part of our lungs doesn't get the full amount of oxygenated air that it needs. So this can actually make you feel short of breath and more anxious. Likewise, when we breathe slowly and deeply, there's a full oxygen exchange, which means we're bringing in more oxygen, and we're getting rid of carbon dioxide. And our heartbeat starts to slow down, our blood pressure can get lower, stabilize, and it can help our muscles relax. So when our bodies are physically calming down, it can also help our brains to do the same. Plus, if we're paying attention and directing our energy towards focusing on our breath, it means we have less time and less energy to think about the things that are worrying us. So how do we put this all into action and use it as a tool in our toolbox to help ease some of the stress during this really challenging time? Today I'm going to show you 3 variations on deep breathing, and you can test them all and see which works best for you. So first, we're going to start with very basic deep breathing. Now, to experience deep breathing, I invite you to find a comfortable place to sit. And if it's more comfortable or accessible to you right now, you can also find a space to lie down on your back, perhaps using a pillow under your neck, under your neck and head, and also one under your knees to support you and your lower back if that feels comfortable to you. Now, whatever position you choose, I encourage you to just relax your shoulders and drop your hands and arms down. Let them rest gently at your sides, or maybe in your lap if you're seated. Now, I'll first provide the brief explanation, and then we'll practice it together. So we're going to begin by breathing in deeply and slowly through our nose. We're going to try to draw that breath in for as long as we can. And when you fully and deeply inhale, we're going to pause at the top. And then we're going to blow out through our mouth like a big steady gust of wind. So it's going to look a little something like this. Okay. Now let's practice that. Let's try a round of a full count of 3 breaths in and out. Okay, now you might have seen for me, when I'm breathing, I actually close my eyes a little bit. It helps me to feel relaxed. If that feels comfortable for you, I invite you to try that. Otherwise, you're also welcome to just sort of lower your gaze down as you breathe. Now that we've practiced that a few times, I invite you to take it one step further for this basic breath. Now, if you'd like, you can place one hand on your chest and one hand on your belly, just below your rib cage. You can do this whether you're seated or lying down. Either one will work. And I invite you to, as you're doing your next round of 3 breaths, as you're inhaling, think about keeping your chest as still as possible. So your hand is placed here so you can feel. Is your chest the thing that's moving up and down? If I breathe in here, or is my belly the one that's breathing? So I invite you to try to keep that chest still. And at the same time, I want you to think about breathing the air in and all the way down into your abdomen, as if you're inflating your belly full of air and perhaps even feeling your belly pressing out against your hand. This physically lets you know that you're breathing fully and deeply. And it may feel strange or hard to do at first, and that's okay. Most of us frequently breathe more shallowly in our chest rather than diaphragmatically down here. So this is why we practice it. So we're going to try it again. So you can see, I'm trying to make sure that my belly is what's moving, not my chest. Now we're going to try another couple of variations to build on what we just did by adding in a few additional components. Now, so the next one that we're going to practice again, we're going to start with our basic foundation of our breath in deeply, pause at the top, and then breathing out through our mouth. But this time we're going to count as we go, matching the length of our inhale and the length of our exhale. Now, if you can do full 5 seconds on both the inhale and the exhale, I invite you to start there. However, if this is challenging for you, and it may be if you haven't done this kind of work before, you can try it with 3 or 4 seconds each. And the idea is still that as we breathe, we're going to count along in our heads, match the inhale to the exhale, and extend it for what's comfortable for you. Now I'm going to do this first with my voice, and then I'll show you as I count along with my fingers, because you can't talk and breathe at the same time. So it'll look a little something like we breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5, pause, and breathe out, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's try that. Great. Now, as you may have noticed, not only are we having to focus on taking our breath slow and steady like we did in our first round and first practice, but now we have to use our brains to give a bit more intention and focus to add in the counting. And again, this additional focus means that, as I mentioned earlier, we're focusing in here on our counting and our breathing and less on our worries. Now our final variation, pretty similar, and if you feel comfortable, you can still leave your hands placed on your chest and your belly to make sure you're doing that inhale through deep into your belly. If it's more comfortable, you can let your hands fall back to your sides. Now again, we're going to continue breathing in deeply through our nose and exhaling through our mouths. But with each breath, I invite you to think a soothing or calming or relaxing thought. So it could be something like, I am inhaling calm. Pause. I am exhaling stress. Similarly, you could try matching your inhales and exhales by spelling out a word like calm. So C-A-L-M in, and pause. And maybe we breathe out and spell out the word peace. P-E-A-C-E. You can also try anything that works for you, really. This is something you can customize to yourself. So any statement, word, phrase that you like. You could also combine the 2 variations. So for example, I may count to 4 on my inhale and then spell out the word calm, which is C-A-L-M. It's a 4 count on my exhale. If you can count to 5, you can make that match with the word peace, which is P-E-A-C-E. It's a 5 count. Whatever variation you choose, you're going to help aid your body in relaxing and in turn helping your brain relax. And so the more that we practice too, as with any skill, right? The more we practice, the better we become. Now I invite you to try this last one on your own. Since I cannot talk and breathe with you and you can't hear what's in my head. So I invite you to try that last practice on your own for a few times, at least a 3 count of breath, and finding the right phrase or word that works for you. Now, to be clear, while these breathing techniques can help reduce stress and anxiety, they probably will not make it go away completely. Like with anything, breathing is just a tool. It's not a cure-all. But the more tools we have right now to reduce stress and anxiety, the better. And as I mentioned at the start of this video, we'll be providing you with an ongoing series of videos, each presenting you with new tools to add to your toolbox and to practice. And hopefully you find a number that work for you. So I thank you so much for joining me in today's practice. I hope you're feeling maybe a little bit calmer after you've joined me in these different breathing variations. And I look forward to sharing more tools with you in the future. Thanks so much, and everyone, please be well.